Johnny English Strikes Again.
Ooh, excuse me, sorry.
The third Johnny English film.
Incredible.
We have a problem.
Good.
The identities of our serving agents have been exposed.
The country is in a state of complete chaos. And the universe sends me you.
Sir!
Yes, all right, Buff, we're going on a mission, not a honeymoon.
Yes, of course, sir.
There's been a hack at MI7, and all the identities of all the spies has been revealed, and so they have to find someone who's from the past who wasn't on the database. So they have to get back Rowan Atkinson playing Johnny bloody fucking English.
The retired spy, used to be a spy, now he's retired.
Now he's back.
Yeah, the gag was always that he was an incompetent spy, and now they have to bring back the incompetent spy.
He's the only one.
He's the only one he got.
And it's basically the villain is a sort of
Silicon Valley billionaire.
Yeah, it's
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg and
Elon Musk.
Something
like that.
And he's basically trying to take over the world.
Yeah, for reasons that are not made enormously clear.
One thing that doesn't make sense at all is that he not be on the database. The first movie came out in like 2002.
I think
and the
so.
last one was like 2006, 8?
No, I think it was 2011.
Like,
it was like 7 years ago.
Johnny, you're on that database.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
not that, maybe that database as well, but
You're looking particularly beautiful tonight.
You're looking particularly beautiful tonight.
Ching.
This character, Johnny English, if you only know him from the movies, which maybe a lot of people do, this character started out in, I think, 1992 as a character for a Barclaycard advert. So it was a series of adverts for the credit card, Barclaycard. And the idea was that it was this gentle riff on the cliches and the tropes of old spy movies, i.e. old Bond movies. So he was a useless sort of English spy abroad. And in these sort of 45-second long adverts, he would be in a situation and he would say, well, I'm going to do this, and he'd make an absolute arse of himself, and his companion Boff would save the day with a fucking Barclaycard. And so that was the origin of the character.
No ordinary biro. 2 clicks of a cap, and it will render any assailant immobile. Very dangerous in the wrong hands. Take over for a Boff, would you, moment?
Well, Barclaycard is widely accepted. In fact, you can use it in over 200 countries around the world.
It's a piss take of a version of a Bond that doesn't exist anymore. It's this Bond that uses gadgets. You know, he sort of quips, and he's sort of this sort of chauvinistic ladies' man. And but it's a kind of camp character. And there's always a thing with the old Bonds is there was an element of knowing excess there. And the thing about the new Bonds is it's kind of not there. Because this current Bond is he's basically an incredibly muscly, depressive,
heavy drinker,
alcoholic psychopath who just beats people to death in stairwells.
He literally likes the taste of murder. Eva Green goes, there's blood on my hands. He does it, he goes, yes.
It's like there's blood on my hands.
So this idea of this kind of globe-trotting, sort of slightly ridiculous Englishman abroad, it's gone. It doesn't really exist anymore. And this is this odd thing where this character doesn't feel like it has a place anymore.
That Bond that Johnny English is pastiching died in 1985.
Yes.
Well, he didn't die. Roger Moore died.
He died last year.
But like the character that last time we saw Bond like that was 1985. This is 30-something years ago. For children, that's like, what else was 30-something years ago? That's like having a Lethal Weapon comedy for children.
It's totally out of date. I don't see where the audience here is for this.
I think it's countries where, when I say countries, the world, where Mr. Bean is still sold.
We saw it in a screening with a lot of kids. It was an early morning screening, a lot of children there, and a fair amount of the kids were giggling through it. And when you heard the laughter, it was when he sort of slips into the Mr. Bean routine.
Always, yeah. And he slips into it quite a few times. Literally, his face changes into Mr. Bean. There's a sequence where he eats a spicy peanut, and it's, you know, it starts off with an awful line where Olga Kurylenko says, "I like these," when some peanuts arrive, which is a strange line. I remember looking at you going, "What?"
We both looked at what the hell?
And he goes, and it's this weird, like, and it's no longer Johnny English. It's Mr. Bean.
It's Mr. Bean.
And it got laughs.
Well, that's the clever thing, is that the cleverest thing that Rowan Atkinson ever did was rip off Jacques Tati and do Mr. Bean.
Yes.
Essentially a silent comedy character. He talks a little bit, but he's pretty much wordless. So it works wherever you are. So, like, consequently, Mr. Bean is big in, like, you know, Spain and Vietnam.
Yeah. They love him.
So it's a clever move to do that. But with this movie, as you see that Mr. Bean character creep in every now and then, you can sort of tell that the Johnny English character's got no legs.
Arm the missile.
They're just cyclists, so...
They're French cyclists, Bob, and they're obstructing Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Johnny English doesn't work as a character because he's sometimes actually quite competent. It never decides, is he competent, is he an idiot, he's actually a good driver. He takes people out.
He fights, like, he beats people in fist fights a lot.
He's brave. I don't get I don't get it.
Exactly, yeah. Well, that's the thing.
They don't either.
I think it's a hangover from this Barclay car commercial where he never had to have a fight or drive a car in the commercial because it was 30 seconds long.
Do you think this might be the start, even though it's the third one, of the TV commercial universe? Where it's going to have the man from Del Monte. Who else have we got?
The milk tray man.
The milk tray man. Samuel L. Jackson comes in at the end of Johnny English for getting a team together.
The sense that there's maybe some sort of a reference to the state of the UK, because you get Emma Thompson plays the Prime Minister, so you think, okay, it's going to be this sort of Theresa May style character, and it's odd because they don't give her a joke. She's a competent Prime Minister. They give it a little joke where she says, "I want some booze" a couple of times.
Yeah.
So they tap into this thing about all English people being kind of, or British people being kind of, you know, repressed alcoholics, which we're not. But you think there's going to be a joke about, you know, it's sort of like a Brexit joke where the country's gone completely to shit, because that's part of the plot, is that, you know, this American billionaire, Silicon Valley billionaire,
knows
says,
that UK is, yeah.
This is absolutely, and he says this place is a complete mess, and it's like, you know, kicking out a time in a pub. It's a joke. The United Kingdom's an absolute mess. So you think there's going to be some sort of Brexit-related jokes in there. So let's get this kind of throwback to a time when we still had an empire.
Yeah.
And there'll be some gags in there, and nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens. And that feels like an open goal which has been completely missed by the movie.
Target acquired. This is a job for the shoebox inflator.
Don't open it in the car!
The movie also stars Olga Kurylenko. So they brought back a Bond girl. And I saw her, she was in, I can't remember what paper it was one of the free ones. So it was Evening Standard or Metro.
Or the Standard,
yeah. And it was an interview with her going, it's wonderful to come back, and I've got the chance to be a Bond girl, and what no other Bond girl really gets the chance, I'm also now in a comedy version of James Bond film. This is a route, Olga, so many Bond girls before you have gone, like Ursula Andress,
Daniela Bianchi,
who was in,
she was in OK Connery.
OK Connery, where she
with OK Connery, which came out about 1964, which was a joke that, because by that time Bond was only about 2 years old. OK Connery starred Sean Connery's actual brother as a character who was James Bond's brother, as a joke version of James Bond. And Daniela Bianchi was in that, what, like a year after From Russia with Love?
This experiment requires the outlay of a great deal of energy.
Why don't you try it?
No, not the young lady.
Excuse me, Doctor. I really thought that I was just whispering.
Actually, it's my fault. I didn't hear you, but I am capable of lip reading.
So Olga, you're not the first, but
Yeah.
it's nice to see you on screen. I quite like Olga Kurylenko.
Yeah,
She's her character's crap.
There's no character.
But she does have the worst line in the movie, which is, "I like these when some peanuts
Some
are ripe."
peanuts, right?
Peanuts?
Everybody likes peanuts, Olga.
Well, no.
Well,
some-
apart from if you die, if you eat
severe
them. Some
allergies.
people die, but
I'm sure there's some people who die.
if you don't die when you eat them, then you love them.
Yeah.
Surely.
And if some weird 60-year-old spy sits next to you, you don't go, "Have you had one of these?" What a
You
peanut.
go, "Sorry, you Mr. Bean."
The best joke in the movie comes, I think, in the first 15 minutes. There's a good joke where they bring back a whole load of old spies, and there's Charles Dance and Michael Gambon, and one of the foxes, either the jackal or his brother. That sounds like a real cryptic thing for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about. James Fox or his brother. Not Fox and Jackal. Anyway.
Day the Fox.
Anyway, there's a really good joke at the beginning that is sort of Johnny English with a bit of Mr. Bean clumsiness, but it's a joke I genuinely found funny.
Can I just ask, what is wrong with you? Did you or did you not burn the Côte du Roc restaurant to the ground?
I laughed maybe twice. I chuckled twice, laughed once, and was bored through most of it. But
It's mercifully short.
yeah,
If you've seen the first two Johnny English movies, this is what you get. It's the same thing again. It's a character that's out of date, has no place anymore, that's being sort of peddled out again. I'm not quite sure why, which in itself is lazy. But the disappointing thing is there's an opportunity to make this character the sort of figurehead of a mad UK shooting itself in the foot and head and bollocks Brexit style. And that doesn't happen. So it's not only is it tedious and out of date, it's disappointing.
Rowan, do you not have enough money? I mean, you're still getting, like, even from like San Marino, you're getting £500 a month, you know, in Mr. Bean royalty rights. Like, you've got Mr. Bean coming, you know, every country in the world, the envelope. Ooh, lovely.
Well, he's presumably still getting those Barclaycard ad royalties.
Yes. Like, stop.